Hey guys, it's the middle of January and it's a nice sunny day. It's kind of warm out too, it's in the low 40s. So of course there's not a speck of snow anywhere. So I won't be doing any snow blowing anytime soon. So what's a guy to do? What should I do for these videos? I need to do something, but I don't know what. What should I do? So today I'm going to try to get the Go Kart running. You've seen it in the background if you've watched any of my other videos. I bought this Go Kart back in like 2001, 2002, and it used to run really good, very reliable. It would always start on the first pole, but it's had some carburetor issues, and now it has a dirty gas tank. So the plan is I'm going to replace the gas tank right now. I'm going to replace the carburetor for a second time and change the oil. And then I might take it for a quick spin. I also need to fix the pull starter because the rope seems to have come undone. And then if I'm able to get it running, I'm going to idle it for a while, let it warm up, and then change the oil. This oil has very little use on it, but it's still years old, and I suspect a lot of fuel has leaked into it, so it's a lot thinner than it's supposed to be. So some fresh oil, fresh carb, fresh gas tank, and hopefully this thing runs like a champ. So I'm taking off the plastic cover, and then I'm taking off the air filter that's held on by a little wing nut, basically just for access. Now I'm taking off the muffler cover. It's held on by 3 little bolts. Now I'm getting to the gas tank itself. It's also held on by 3 bolts. So an important note is that I already drained the fuel out of this a while ago. And this is how I know I need a new gas tank. This is what the fuel looked like. This is not what good fresh fuel looks like at all. That's tons of rust mixed in. So that's probably why the carburetor was going bad, and I definitely need a new gas tank. But I have it, so. It is filthy under here. So just to recap, to remove the fuel tank, there's 2 nuts underneath here and here. There's a bolt that goes in from the back, which I took the exhaust cover off just to make it easier. I don't know that it was necessary, but it helps. And then the fuel line is underneath, so you have to pry it off and kind of get at it. It has a retaining clip, but my clip had slipped off anyway. All right, now for the carburetor. Alright, so this cover peels back, and this is the carburetor. I'm going to take pictures of everything to help me put it back together when I'm putting the new one on. So the one problem I'm definitely going to have is with the gaskets. I have not been able to find any instructions on which gaskets go in which position, in which orientation. The only thing I can find in any instructions is that it tells you to put them in the same order they were in when you took it off. Problem is, this is not the original carburetor, so I have no idea. So I'm just going to try to do my best, try to look at it logically, and hopefully I can get them installed correctly. So first I have to get the old carburetor off. Alright. So here's the old carb that again isn't that old because it never really ran right since I replaced the original. So I'm using a plastic putty knife to scrape off what's left of the gaskets because you don't want to scratch any of the surfaces, otherwise the gaskets won't create a perfect seal and air will leak in. Alright, that side looks good. Gonna flip it over and scrape this side. Here's a general tip for you. It's always handy to have a bucket around to put the trash in rather than just letting it pile up on the ground, then you have to clean it up when you're done. Just grab a 5-gallon bucket and you can throw everything in it and you can keep your workspace nice and clean as you go. So even though I said I wasn't going to, I'm using the metal flathead screwdriver to scrape these gaskets because I can't fit the plastic one in there. You really are not supposed to do this because you're almost guaranteed to put some scratches in the metal and then the gasket won't seal as good. So I'm going to try to be as careful as I can because I really want to get this done. Alright, these surfaces are clean, or at least as clean as you're going to get. So now I'm going to start with this gasket. Yeah, I'll put it that way. That looks like a pretty good match. We'll put this piece on, right side up. Alright, I'm going to modify this gasket slightly because it looks like it's covering up holes that it's supposed to be revealing. So hopefully I'm doing the right thing. Alright, I've modified it as much as I'm going to, and hopefully it works. We'll see. Alright, putting the new carburetor on. There we go. All right, the last gasket. It's okay. This way. Alright, I think that works. I'm gonna check the dipstick real quick before I do anything, just to see. Whoa! The oil is pouring out of the dipstick hole, and that means that enough gas has leaked around the piston and gone into the oil pan that the oil level is now way too high. I wanted to get it running before I changed the oil so the oil would have a chance to warm up and circulate, but because the oil level's so high, that's going to be a problem. So I'm going to change it now. The oil's still gold, that's how little use it has on it, but I'll change it now, put some good stuff in, and then hopefully this thing will start up. Alright, this is gonna make a mess. That's just life. Ah. good thing is this oil is still golden. It's not even really used oil. That's how little use it's got. So it's probably not so bad for you when it gets on your fingers. I'm tipping the Go Kart up like this just to move the engine around to make sure every last drop of oil comes out. Well, at least this will prevent rust on this part of the frame, because it will always be covered in oil. So this is what I do to put oil in. It just makes it easier. Jack the front way up, which is easy because there's no weight on the front of this thing. So now when I pour the oil in, it won't spill out as easily. This thing takes 20 ounces of oil and it calls for 10W30. And I put in full synthetic 0W30 to help make it easy to start in the winter and to just help keep the engine running clean. There's already exactly 20 ounces in here, so I'm just going to pour the whole thing in. So clearly it's not starting. What it's doing is backfiring really loud. It sounds like a shotgun, but you can't really hear it because the camera's microphone automatically adjusts the levels. So it sounds like a gentle pop, but it's actually a really loud bang that's probably getting the whole neighborhood's attention. While I'm replacing everything else, I figured I might as well get a new spark plug too. Alright, I'm jacking it up on this block of wood so that I can lubricate the chain, because the chain is filthy and rusty and needs some WD-40. And actually, there's probably better stuff to spray on chains like this than WD-40. I know what to use for mountain biking. I don't really know what to use for off-road vehicles. So if you have any suggestions, let me know, please. Now I'm going to try to fix the pull cord because it has way too much slack in it. It still works, but it's going to work better if I can fix it. It's a little hard to see what I'm doing due to the camera angle and the weird lighting, but basically I'm cutting the knot off the end of the rope and removing the handle, and then I'm feeding the rope back through the hole in the housing cover, and then, careful not to let go of the rope, I'm winding the entire spool one more rotation tighter, and then putting the rope back through the hole in the cover, back through the pull handle, and then tying a new knot on the end. That will get rid of all the slack and the starter rope will be nice and tight. Also, just so you know, I filmed parts of this video out of order, so it may look like the rope is slack again in a few seconds, but it's fixed. Nice. Turn the choke off too quick. That's awesome that it started though. All right, that was fun. That was actually very uncomfortable. It's been a long time since I've driven this thing around. Yeah, so I replaced the gas tank, replaced the carburetor, replaced the oil, put fresh gas in it. It still wasn't running right. Then I replaced the spark plug and it ran great. So I have fresh gas in it now with seafoam engine cleaner. So whenever it snows, I'm just gonna either let it idle or just pedal it around a little bit. Pedal, it's not a bicycle. Drive it around a little bit and keep it fresh, and hopefully I won't have to go through all this trouble again. That was fun though. I always forget how fun this thing is, but at least now I can move it around. And it's freezing out, so I'm done for the day no matter what. All right, thanks for watching. See you later.